Nurse Blake, welcome to Calendaloo.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a minute trying to schedule this with you.
I know. We were saying that we were supposed to meet in person here in LA, and I was so excited to meet you because I love your energy. I love your sense of humor. And then the LA fires hit. I think it was the exact week we were supposed to do your episode. So we had to scratch that, unfortunately.
I know. Well, it's so good to see you now. I know California, y'all got fires. I'm in Florida, so we got hurricanes.
Right. We've been surviving a lot, but it's all good. And I'm very happy that you're here, although via Zoom, but I'm very happy to have you.
Me too.
So I want to start by asking, I guess, probably the question that everybody asks, because we see nurses kind of like a really serious job, right? ER, you're dealing with like a lot of very chaotic things. And then you found this humor in the middle of it. How did that happen?
I don't know. Nurses, we're a particular type of breed. Like, you're right. We see life, we see death. Like, we work 12 hours and so much happens within that, a half a day, 12 hours that, listen, you got to be funny to get through it. Like, if you're not cracking jokes, you're not going to survive nursing. So I think we're just funny people. Now our humor probably isn't appropriate most times. But you know what? We laugh to get through it.
Yeah, I think that was going to be one of my questions because I know I love it and it makes me laugh. And obviously you're drawing like a huge, massive crowd. We're going to talk about it. But a lot of people probably, I don't know if you get criticism, but I know a lot of people would look at it like, why is he making fun of such serious things?
No, that's a great question. I had that fear when I started making videos in 2017. But honestly, like everything I put out is pretty well received. I don't have any haters. Never been canceled.
Wow.
Because I think everything I do just comes from love. It comes from the heart. It's honest. And I make sure not to make fun of, patients, right? I mostly pick on just the broader experience, or I pick on other nurses or nurse leaders and stuff. But I get no hate.
That's great to hear. I remember many years ago, I just remember this story now, I swear to God. I dated a doctor and he was an ER doctor. And
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. He ended up being really famous because I actually connected him with one of the Miami housewives.
Oh, no.
And then they fake dated for TV because his dream was to be on the...
Oh my God.
But anyhow, when I was dating him, this is one thing that I remember. He was always saying like, ER doctors die really young. A lot of them have like heart attacks. This is impossible. It's going to kill me. And this was one of the things that was like a deal breaker because the little bit of time we were together, he was always so stressed. He was like, oh my God, this environment is going to like destroy my health. So when I found out about you, I was like, okay, somebody found a much lighter, easier way to navigate this very stressful job.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. And, ER docs, they are so funny. I do love ER doctors. I know sometimes I'm like, nurses are better than doctors, which obviously like we are, because we spend the most time with our patients. But yeah, being an ER, I could imagine being a doctor in today's age. Like being a nurse is hard enough, but also, being a doctor and being in the ER and on call, like, it must not have been fun dating an ER doctor. I will not date a doctor. That is like my red flag. I will not get close to a doctor ever.
No, same. I vowed to never ever date a doctor again because I don't want to deal with their stress. I went on a date with a doctor a while ago here in Beverly Hills, a super crazy, successful doctor. But in the middle of the date, because he's like a major heart and lung surgeon, he wanted to vent. And he started talking about like all these surgeries and the blood. And I was like, okay, that's a no-go for me.
Honestly, like I'm guilty of that too. Like once you work in healthcare, it becomes your whole personality. And it's like all you can talk about because you do have so many stories.
Yeah.
And, we even faced a lot of trauma, right? I'm sure everyone in healthcare, has some trauma or some PTSD, especially if you work, during COVID. And a lot of unsolved trauma that we just kind of bury down and don't talk about. So we definitely talk about being nurses or doctors all the time. And it must be. I want someone with a boring ass job. I want a guy that works in a library.
No, come on, a little better. You're so successful. Okay. You deserve a little.
I want a guy that works at a gas station. I mean, that one's so boring. That's what I need in my life. I bring the excitement and the energy.
You bring it enough, right? Yeah. So you don't want a person with a life as crazy and busy as yours.
No. But I want them to work. They better have a job.
Same. I'm like, okay, that's the least we should expect is a partner with the job. I'm the same because I don't want to date anybody in entertainment either. Because I'm like, man, if I date another podcaster, another artist, like we're gonna kill each other.
I know that would be. I could never imagine dating another comedian. I mean, and also just like in healthcare, I couldn't date another healthkare worker. And comedy, I would never date a comedian. Get out of here.
I know. So okay, the dating, because a lot of us have this fantasy. By the way, the only good part about me dating the doctor, when he was doing like this 24-hour shift, this crazy crap, I would get in my car and go to the hospital and he would come out and we would like make out in the car in the parking lot like teenagers.
Yeah.
So I think it was my Dr. McDreamy fantasy because of Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah. That's the only accurate things about Grey's Anatomy are the romance and more of the sex.
So that's the question. So does that really happen? Like, do you guys like making out in the rooms that you rest? Are you like making out with each other? Is that some of that crap really happens in real life?
So I hear about it happening. It's never happened to me. I don't know what that says about me. I want a doctor to hit on me, please. Next time I'm in the hospital, please hit on me for my self-esteem. But it's never like I've never been like freaky at a hospital. I was also in a relationship for a really long time, for about 12 years. I got with my ex when I was 19. So I was obviously committed to him until we split up 2 years ago. So I never had the chance to be freaky at the hospital.
But you must have
unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Put it on your bucket list.
Thank you. I know, right? Exactly. But you know what? We have caught patients, having sex with each other.
No way.
Happens a lot.
In the hospital?
In the hospital.
Come on.
I don't know what it is about people sick in the hospital. Everyone just gets super horny.
Are you serious? Oh my God. To me, that's like the most depressing place that I can think of. I'm not sure.
No, it smells and there's alarms and there's like strangers and it's gross. Like, why would you ever hook up like, but it happens. You have a patient on a heart monitor, you're like, what is going on with their heart? Well, they're just sleeping when their heart is like, what are you doing,
serious? So like if you catch that, do you say something? Hey, stop.
No, it's just like, get it in. Good luck. Get it in. At least someone's getting it in.
Oh my God. I cannot imagine like a less romantic place,
Good. It's so true. You're right. The hospital's not. I think we romanticize the hospital from, like you said, like your Grey's Anatomy perspective. Like it's super sexy to work and be in healthcare. But I ain't having sex in the hospital.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like on a serious note, when you are doing a shift, because you still work as a nurse, correct?
So yeah, I'm still a nurse. I just don't work in a hospital anymore.
Yeah. So, but you still work as a nurse. But when you are working in a hospital, I mean, most of the time, you are dealing with serious shit, right? People arrive shot. People are like having heart attacks. All this stuff. So it's kind of hard to shift their mindset to like be flirting with your coworkers, right? Like they do on TV. 1 second they have like their hands in somebody's heart, like the next second they're banging in the cafeteria or something.
We don't have time for it. We are so short-staffed. No one has time to hook up anymore. We need actually more healthcare workers to work with us because honestly, staffing is a huge problem, especially ER docs. There's only one of them in a big hospital or whatever. Yeah. It's pretty bad. So you don't have time to make friends or kiss or.
Yeah, it's important that you're saying that because I know when people need help, they're like desperate and everybody complains about the long waiting hours, but it's not the staff's fault because you guys are literally taking care of so many things as fast as you possibly can, right?
It's not our fault. So bear with us. Please don't hit us or spit on us or curse at us. We're doing the best we can. Trust me.
What is the craziest story like you ever heard? Anything like crazy funny or crazy creepy like that you've seen or that you experienced while you were an ER nurse?
I mean, God, I've seen it all. I think the hardest thing is when you, like, for example, you'll get a car crash, right? Your car wreck. You'll have the offender, the person that caused the crash, in the room or in the bed next to, someone who was also injured in the wreck. And that's a weird dynamic because then the families come and they're yelling at each other from like across the room in the hall. It gets pretty, hospitals can be pretty violent places, and a lot of hospitals don't even have security. I think they should all have security.
I agree.
Or you get, someone there with their spouse, but they're someone like their boyfriend or girlfriend come in. So it's like Jerry Springer, but people are sick and dying.
Yeah,
how I explain. Like,
they should do a reality TV show, like really behind this. I know they do a few, like, remember that show? I think it was on TLC about crazy sex things that happened.
Yes.
I forgot the name of that show, but it was gross and hilarious.
It was Sex Sent Me to the ER.
Yes, Sex Sent Me. It was so gross, but some of the stories were like so funny.
We always get like the big, like straight conservative men always like play with their butts and put things up their butts like that shouldn't, like weird shit up their butts, like a Febreze can or like a light bulb. And it's so weird. These guys come in with something up their ass and they're like, it was an accident. Like, don't tell my wife.
They can't take it off.
I know. And it's like, dude, come on.
Oh my God, that must be like so embarrassing. So you've seen some of those in your career.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you should write a book about it for sure.
It's a lot, I know. There's so, like I said, just within 12 hours, you're caring for 6 to 10 patients, and every one of them has a story. So when you get off of work, you just want to kind of like you said, you're a doctor. You couldn't stop talking about work because you saw so much. You just kind of want to share it.
Well, the difference is, I think, like, obviously you realize you are funny and you transformed your humor into a fantastic business. And I love that. I think some people, like this dude that I was dating, he was so dark that it consumed him, like he literally couldn't get out of course, I understand the stress. I mean, I think you guys are angels from heaven, the fact that you do what you do. But the guy just couldn't stop, he couldn't get out of his own, and it was bad for his health, I guess, it was bad for his energy. If you cannot have a life outside of that, then I think you're in trouble, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I started doing comedy and doing shows just for like nurses, because they do want to share their experiences, but in a more healthy way. So I obviously do my comedy shows, which are so fun, and nurses of all ages come out. And then I also do a nursing conference.
Yeah, we're going to talk about, I want to ask about all of that.
So that really helps nurses, to kind of take that time to themselves, because we're really bad at caring for ourselves. I don't know what it is. We will take care of everyone else but our own health. So I'm a super huge advocate for, mental health for healthcare workers.
Oh my God. It's so funny that you said that, because you are right. Like, because I'm obsessed with, my lifestyle. Like, I eat clean, I'll do this shit. I eat organic, I work on, I'm like obsessed. And the more I age, the more obsessed I'm getting. Like, I'm super annoying. And every time I meet a doctor, like one of my best friends here in LA, she's a kick-ass doctor, MD. Okay, yeah. And then I go to her house, she's eating candy and drinking soda and plastic bottles. And I'm like, I'm not going to say her name, but I'm like, hey, isn't this bad? I said, like, yeah, that's not going to kill you. That's bullshit. And she said the exact same phrase that you just said. We are the worst with our own health. And I'm like, why? If you guys see all this tragedy and this horrible that people coming with heart attacks, I would think you're the first ones to be good to yourselves.
It is so funny. It's to the point though where it's like you also learn not the only importance of health, but the importance of, only living once and having one life.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes when you have a patient who's really, really sick and they're going to pass, especially in hospice, like you'll give a patient a beer. Just because like that is what they want to do.
Yeah.
They're really old. Yeah. They're really sick. They want a beer. Have a beer, sir. You know what so I think it's definitely a balance between obviously caring for yourself and your health and just trying to enjoy life.
No, I totally agree. And I think you did a funny post about that. Like there was a tray with that disgusting hospital. I think that food kills.
Some patients, when we don't want them to have like alcohol withdrawal, so we will actually give them a beer or a tequila shot. It'll be ordered by the doctor. They could have a 2-ounce tequila shot with every meal. So it is interesting this when you see that and you have to give a patient a tequila shot or a Budweiser.
No, but I know that it's true. I was married to an alcoholic for 15 years. Me too. He died, by the way. So he had a tragic end. But it's very true. Like if you are in a very advanced level of alcoholism, you can't just stop because your heart stops. And a lot of people don't know that, right? It's like it's a disease that advanced. And I remember my husband when he was like, I'm not going to get treatment, by the way. It was his choice. You know, it got so advanced. But so he was in and out of the hospital, And the doctor said to him, like, yeah, go home and drink your wine, because if you don't drink your wine, you're going to have a heart attack.
Right.
Because what are you going to do, right?
Right. I mean, everyone is so unique, right? Yeah. Like everyone's story is so unique. Their health is so unique. But there are interesting things like that where you would say, hey, you know, you got to keep drinking or else you're going to get sick. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's advice. I'm not giving any advice on this podcast.
Yeah. By the way, this is not like you said, each case is one case. My husband was his case, but we're just making light of the situation because you sometimes, and I did see you posted a really cute picture of the food and there was a little beer can.
Yeah, the Budweiser. Yeah. And the hospital food sucks. I mean, it is the worst food. I did work at a hospital where we actually, speaking of that, we had a McDonald's in the hospital. And a lot of people would think it was at a kid's hospital, a pediatric hospital. And a lot of people think McDonald's, it's so not healthy. Yeah. But when you're really sick and kids aren't eating, you want them to at least have something, you know? So just having a meal, regardless of what it is, and knowing kids like McDonald's and eat it, you know? So it is interesting, little things like that you don't consider.
It's better to have anything, but why is hospital food so disgusting? Is it on purpose or do you know?
And listen, we're paying what? I mean, a hospital bill per night is running like what, $7,000 to $12,000. Like I should be getting some good ass food. 6-star meal, Michelin bullshit entree.
It's so disgusting, right? Anywhere, any hospital, you can go to the most expensive hospital. It's like so gross. I'm like, why is it like that?
It's not good. I mean, I don't know why, but it's so gross. It's like, I don't even know where they cook this food. I don't even know where it's coming from. It's definitely one of the secrets of, and like some hospitals, they have morgues. I don't know who works in the morgue. Like I've been down the morgue once. Like you don't like. It's so weird when you're in the hospital and there's, you know, a morgue, which obviously makes sense, but still it's like freaky. It's and like who works down there? You know what I mean?
And then you guys that work there, you end up eating really poorly as well, right? Like when you're doing long shifts and stuff, you eat junk and you eat all kinds of crap.
We don't get breaks a lot. We don't get lunches. Like our lunches are not mandatory or guaranteed. A lot of times we don't get breaks and we're working 12, 13 hours. So you just got to put whatever you can in your mouth, you know.
So I would think when you see these shows on TV, like we were talking about, when you see Grey's Anatomy, all these ER shows, what is your perception? Like, oh my God, what bullshit is just for TV? Or do you see anything that relates to the real ER work?
Yeah, I think when it comes to the stories, right? Obviously, the personal stories, everyone has a story. And that's why we watch Grey's Anatomy. And it makes us cry because Grey's Anatomy has really good music. And Shonda Rhimes, the creator, knows what she's doing. Yeah. That's why it's been around like 45 seasons. Forever. It's like Ellen Pompeo is so tired. She is so ready for this. She's like, kill me off now. Send me to the morgue. She's so done. But when it comes to them caring for the patient, like doing procedures and stuff, like all of that's bullshit. So you go from wanting to watch it to not wanting to watch it to rolling your eyes to crying. Yeah. So it's definitely a journey when you watch that show as a healthcare worker.
Yeah, I love it. So let's talk about your fantastic comedian career. You knew you were funny. You started like as a hobby. How did it start and how did it develop to what it is today? Because now you're doing this massive tour, like comedy tour, right? Called Shock.
It was a Shock Advice
Shock tour. Advice tour. Shock Advice tour. You're doing a cruise. Mm-hmm. You tell us about that. How did it evolve from just being funny to having like this fantastic following and this massive career as a comedian?
Yeah, you know, I went to nursing school straight out of high school. Like I was doing my prereq. So I've been a nurse for 11 years now. And like you said, like nurses, we work so hard. We're so burnt out. I was to the point, I was so fucking burnt out. I was depressed. I was anxious. And that's when I actually started making videos on social media, which were so helpful to me in my mental health. And I connected with nurses all over the world that would watch my videos and comment. And I was like, oh, they like it. I'll keep doing it. And it was just such a big help for my mental health that I kept doing it. And I realized that nurses wanted something more. They wanted to meet in person. They wanted to hang out. They wanted to meet me in real life. So I'm like, you know what? I'll do like a show. I did like 5 shows in 2020 and they all sold out, which is shocking. And they were in just these random cities. And I was like, oh, let me do more. And then I ended up doing 25 and then 50. And last year I did over 100 shows.
Wow. Oh my
and
God.
it not only helps me and it helps other nurses to be able to come out and have a good night and relate.
Yeah.
And, because I didn't have that when I was a new nurse, someone to really look up to and someone who also showed, support for what you're doing. It's very lonely in healthcare. Even though you work with a lot of people, it can be very, very lonely. And I realized that, hey, nursing conferences are so fucking boring. We need to make nursing conferences fun. So every year I do a conference called NurseCon at Sea, where I rent out the whole ship and we bring over 3,000 nurses on board and we do education and theme nights and bingo and drag shows and
3,000. Oh, so when are you doing that this year?
It's coming up April 7th.
April 7th. It's on your Instagram. By the way, if there are any nurses out there listening, or if you guys listening know any nurses, make sure you tell them to go check it out because it sounds like a lot of fun.
Come on the cruise. It's like the Coachella of nursing conferences on a cruise ship. Like the nurses are so wild. They're ready to let loose and have fun. And it's really a balance between having fun, but also learning and getting their continuing education. So it's such a great time.
And is it only nurses? Like if a doctor wants to come or a non-nurse wants to come?
Sure. If a doctor wants to come and hang out with 3,000 nurses and you're sexy, you're more than welcome to come.
How about somebody not in the healthcare industry?
No, you can be a guest of someone. So you need to be a nurse or in healthcare, and then you're allowed to bring like a spouse or a friend who's
and how many days is that?
We did 4 nights. So it's April 7th through the 11th out of Miami to the Bahamas.
Oh, how fun. Oh my God.
And you know about that. You used to live in Miami.
I used to live in Miami. I've been on cruises. Yeah, it's so much fun. I like the short ones. It's a blast, especially if you are with a group of friends, a group of people. It's so much fun. I
say they're the best vacations because you don't got to think about shit.
Yes.
You don't got to think about the food. You don't think about getting around or...
Everything is done for you. You just wake up, eat, have fun, and do everything all over again. And I love those.
It's the best. I love cruises too. I grew up in Florida, so I grown up going on cruises. And when I was like, oh, I want to do a nursing conference or a nursing event, I'm like, oh my God, we should do it on a cruise ship.
So
no one thought we'd be able to do. I mean, when I called Royal Caribbean, I was like, hey, I want to do an event on a cruise. They're like, who are you? And we're coming up on our 5th one. So
wow. When they realize the power you have of packing up a ship, you must be really proud. Like when you see those people, they're like, I brought these people here. It must be really empowering, right?
Yeah. I always like to take a step back and just see everyone like having a good time and networking. And we have a wide age range. So you'll have like nursing students who are, 21 dancing their ass off next to a retired nurse in their 80s. So it's so cool to see that diversity and them coming together. Because being nurses, we all share a common bond. We might not know each other, but we get each other and we understand each other. So it's like a family reunion every year. It's honestly, it's really cool to witness.
I love that. How about your comedy tour? When does that start? Or are you already in it?
Yeah, so I wrapped up my Shock Advice comedy tour at the end of last year. And my new one, I haven't announced yet, but it will be coming out soon. And it'll be happening this fall.
And so you go all over the United States, right?
I go all over the world. So I tour all over the US, but then I also do Canada, Europe. Last year, I got to do a show at the Sydney Opera House in Australia, which is pretty cool. It was never on my bucket list. Because like I said, I went to nursing school to care for people, not do comedy and tell jokes. So it's so random that life has taken me in this direction, but I've just been open to what the universe brings me.
But I think you're doing a lot of good because comedy, like you said, it heals, it makes people feel lighter. So I think in many ways you are fulfilling your destiny, right? Not just as a nurse, but you're bringing so much healing and happiness to people. I think that's really amazing.
Thank you. No, it really, I stay busy so much. I don't ever really get to take a step back and really look at everything like that. So it is cool. And when you think of it in that perspective.
Yeah, because honestly, I don't think it's easy to be a comedian. I think it's not something you can learn. I think it's like something that comes natural to you. Like when I see your videos, like it just comes from you, like from your heart, like very organically. And I think this is what the audience connects with, because some people try so hard to be funny, right? That they fall flat.
It's like, you're not funny. It's like, go back to your, stop. Exactly. It's like, you're not funny.
Exactly. And that's not that you are just funny and you have this light nature and beautiful smile. So like, I'm not a nurse. I mean, I'm not, and I watch your videos, like now I follow you on social media. So you pop on my feed every day and it makes me laugh and it makes my day lighter and it just makes me feel good about it. So I don't think you have to be in the healthcare profession to really enjoy your comedy. It's adorable.
My favorite thing is whenever these nurses will bring their husbands to the show, and they're always like these big, like straight guys. And I make sure they are laughing their ass off just as much. So it's so great at the end of the show when they come up and they're like, yo, bro, like that shit was so funny. Like you're a gay nurse and I loved it. And I'm like, yeah, there we go. Then that's a win.
I love that. Yeah, before we run out of time, I want to ask you about, this is an important one. And I think people need to know. I saw you did a post. You were at some American Heart Association event just a little while ago. And you and a reporter, journalist came talk to you. And you said something about CPR. You were like, I think everybody should know CPR.
Yes. I mean, yes, it is American Heart Month right now, all of February. So sending love and hearts to everybody. And it's really a number one killer in women. And it's so sad to see that. So American Heart Association did this big event to raise awareness on it. And I think everyone should know CPR. You could get certified and learn anywhere. Because people go down all the time, more than you think, whether you're on a flight or you're at the mall or you're at dinner. Like there's so many times when someone needs help and you might not be in healthcare, but you could still save someone's life, which I think is pretty cool. Because I saved someone's life, but I had to go to school for 4 fucking years. And all you have to do is take a course and you could save someone's life and be a hero, which I think is great. And you could learn, like if you have kids, you could teach them CPR. And it's such a great thing to do with your family. It's a great skill to learn and have. Oh, you hope to never use it, right? But when you do need it.
Yeah, I like that idea. So how do you suggest people learn? Is that take a course? Like, can you give...
American Heart Association. Just go to the American Heart Association. You could take it online. You could take it in person. Really, really fun to... Not to do it on someone real, but to learn it.
I love that tip. And I don't know how to practice CPR, but when I watched the video, I was like, you know what? Because my dad died from a massive heart attack in the middle of the night. And when one of his, because he had a massive house and he had people, that's like one of his house managers, by the time they found him, the guy did not know how to perform. We don't know if you would have saved him or not, but I always have that in mind. So that's a fantastic idea. I appreciate it.
And then something sexy, like if you want to add something to your Tinder profile, you could just be like, I also know CPR.
Yes. I love that. I can save your life.
I can save your life.
I can save your life.
Sex will not send you to the ER. I will save your life right here in the bedroom.
Oh my God. I love that. Blake, congratulations on all your incredible success. You're adorable. Where can people find out about it? I'm going to put his link here, but tell us what's coming up or how they can reach you.
Yeah, just find me on social media at Nurse Blake, and you can get all the information about my upcoming comedy tour, which is not out yet, but soon, and also nurseconnect.com for the Ultimate Nursing Conference. Amazing. And I'm going to check your dates because when you are back this way in LA, I will definitely go watch a show and hopefully we can meet in person. That'd be awesome, Kat. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Be safe out there and go learn CPR.